Hi, everybody. Welcome to this Friday night's edition of The Lounge. So excited to have you here in the aftermath of the spring equinox, which, let me tell you, I couldn't even do the office last week because it rolled me down. So, how is everybody doing tonight? If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, I want to hear from you. Shoot me a comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know how you're feeling tonight, and let me know how you've been feeling the last couple days. Now, if you do get my monthly energy forecast, you would have known that last weekend was a weekend to lay low. This weekend's going to be a lot better. If you don't get the monthly forecast, it's a really good idea to go in the description of this video and sign up. It's like Cosmo every month. Once a month, you get me coming on. It's not like the live weekly office where you get the day's energy. You also get the month's energy. So I'm so happy to hear from you guys tonight. We have an interesting show tonight. I am actually decided to lounge. I know every week I am coming on, my hair done, my makeup done. I got a nice shirt on, and today I'm sporting the Penn State Worthington Scranton hoodie because that's where the energy is. I have had a rough going with the equinox. Apparently, I have to consult my Sujay, the astrologer from India, who was on the show last time, be like, what was going on? Because I did talk to a lot of my clients, my one-to-one coaching clients, my students, and everyone's telling me that no matter what they did to try to like wind down or calm down or go for a walk or meditate, they were just like crazy, like agitated, angry, crying. I don't know what was going on, but I'm so happy that the energy has broken. Now let me say hi to a couple people that just came on. Maria, good evening, Maria. You are mentioning the monthly energy forecast says this could be a good weekend for celebration. Let's start it out with the lounge, girlfriend Maria. I like your style. I like where you're going, and I hope to God that you like my Scranton, Penn State Worthington Scranton sweatshirt. This was a gift from the students at Penn State Worthington Scranton because I came in and they wanted me to come in and tell them about life after death and about somebody who talks about connecting to people from the other side. Can you believe it? The medical students. This was many years ago. But they gave me this as a present, and I thought, hey, why not wear it tonight for the lounge? Hi, Ellen. Good to see you. James, good to see you. James was on the lounge just a couple weeks ago. It is the coach, Coach JXP. I want to know how you're doing, Coach. Want to come on and talk to us about it later on? Let me know. Amy, how you doing? Michael Ruff, good to see you. Paula, good to see you. Maria, thanks. I love the sweatshirt too. Hi, Kim, Kathy, Lisa, looking forward to the session. Me too. Now, I know you guys are going to be a little bummed out, okay? Today is a weird day. I'm telling you, we're breaking the energy, moving into a better cycle. And I'm going to move to a better song too because I feel like I'm on The Price is Right from 1975. But we're back. So Elise couldn't make it tonight, so I know you guys all look forward to hearing us talk about our mediumship shop talk and intuition and busting on each other. But she was a little under the weather tonight, so she could not make it. So if you want to co-host the lounge tonight with me, I'm offering you the opportunity out there in the lounge to come on and try your hand at the seductress's second fiddle. She came on, she jumped in for Elise, but both Elise and the seductress both couldn't make it tonight. So if you want to come on and give it a little, jump on in and take Elise's slot, feel free. I'll send you an invite. We'll bring you on. Because you know what I say, the lounge is a show that books itself. So we have a plan tonight, but I'm open to wherever the plan may lead. So let's see. Oh, Kim, she's talking about she just watched the video with Coach JXP and he loved it. So, awesome. So, if you guys want to talk about coming on, just put it in the comments. I'm not ready to bring anyone on just yet because we have to introduce our special guest. But I would love to have some of you on tonight to give us a little bit of your insight, how you're doing, what's been going on since you've been on the show. And if you put in your email, you got to put your email into, you know what, James, Coach JXP, I have your email. So I'm going to send you an invite to come backstage in just a little bit. But first, I want to introduce our lovely special guest. Now, all of you guys know that I am big into manifestation. Manifesting with Marisa is going to be opening in the spring. We already did our first launch in December, had our group of students go through. They loved it. And if you're not on the wait list and the early notification list to let you know when we're opening the course, go in the description. Get on the list so that you'll find out when the doors are open and you can get on. And I don't know if many of you have been watching The Lounge or not, or The Office, or you're on the newsletters. Most of you are on everything that I do. But we're also going to do something this time around that we didn't do last time around. And a lot of people joined the course last time and said, I want to manifest, but I don't know what my dream is, or I don't know how to access my dream, or I have 20 dreams and I don't really know what to do. So I'm going to be doing a 5-day free live workshop, a live challenge. You guys are going to be competing for a prize, and we are going to help you define your dream. So that if you want to take the course to make it happen, great. But first we got to know what you're going to do, right? So if you're not sure where your dream is, you're going to define it. And to get on that list, to know when the live challenge is going to be, make sure you get an email about it. Either sign up for my monthly energy forecast, you're on that list, or the wait list for the course. And those links are all in the description of this video as well. So now, we're going to take manifesting, and we know all about that. We're going to take transformation. And now we're going to take hypnosis. And how do you put that all together? I have no clue, okay? But let me just tell you that I read a book a long time ago. It was a very old book. It was The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And this book was so old. I don't know. I read it like 20 years ago. And it basically was saying that you could want something all you want. Like you could say, oh, I want to have this abundance, or I want to have this type of partner in my life, or I want to have this type of home, or I want to manifest love and abundance and, doing all my creative dreams, making them come true. But if your subconscious mind has blocks and limitations, and it's telling you you can't do it, you don't deserve it, you're not good enough, you're not worth it, for some reason, what this book says is the subconscious mind doesn't have a filter of true or false. It just takes everything and says that it's true. So, and you're not really aware of this because it's in the subconscious. So you're like, well, I really, really want to manifest these things. I want it so bad, but yet I seem to be falling short. I seem to be trying and it's not working. Or once I try to move forward with my dreams, I get fatigued, or I get a low energy, or I procrastinate, or I self-sabotage. But I can't break that pattern. And so your mind is telling you, I know that I'm doing this, but I can't stop and I can't get to where I want to go. So I really am looking forward to hearing from our guest, because not only does she talk about manifesting laws, and she is an author as well. I want to talk to you a little bit about Victoria. Our special guest today is Victoria Gallagher, okay? And she has written a book called The Practical Law of Attraction. Align yourself with the manifesting conditions and successfully attract your desires. So she's got courses. She's got a personal growth course. She's got a visualization course, a gratitude course, lots of stuff. She's got an app, hiptalk.com. And she is a worldwide leader in hypnotherapy, a best-selling author, international speaker, life success coach, renowned authority on the law of attraction. She has dedicated her life to empowering people all over the world to successfully live a life of liberty, aligned with their dreams through her effective meditative recordings and online courses. So we're still at the Price is Right music. I don't know what's happened, so let me change that again. All right, it's getting a little weird over here. We'll try this. How about we put on Let the Game Show Begin? Let the game show begin. So without further ado, I am going to welcome Miss or Mrs. or pageant queen. Who knows? We'll just see who it is. It's Victoria Gallagher. How are you?
Hi, Marissa. Wow, I love that introduction. I love your show, the vibe of your show. I love your energy. And
thank you.
This is such an honor to be here. And I'm just vibing with all the guests that are already here. And so this is fun. I love the name of your show, The Lounge. How long you been doing this for?
Well, all of my we call everybody that watches the show Loungeites.
Oh,
okay. So they're the Loungeites. This show started when the pandemic hit because I was doing live theatrical performances of my Connection Beyond live show. So I was touring, doing live shows with my mediumship. And when the pandemic hit, the shows shut down. We couldn't do any shows in theaters. We couldn't do anything in person. So I started walking down the street one day and talking to myself on Facebook Live to all my followers, right? Just like pretty much talking about what the energy was going to be. And one day I sat on my couch, I put Christmas lights on my head, and I started just talking to them and making fun of things in my own life. And then all of a sudden, 9 months later, it just led to bringing guests on, people hanging out. We have bands. You're not seeing the lounge at its height. You're missing our co-host, you're missing our lounge buddies, and you're missing our musicians. So we usually have a big crowd here. And tonight it's just me and you, and I'm going to bring somebody in from one of our previous guests on also. But yeah, if you like the energy now, you got to see what it's like when it's really hopping here in the lounge.
Yeah, I love it. And I love they have your sofa in the back, and you just kind of look like you're kicking back. And you know what? I've kind of got my lounge lighting going back there. And
you do. I like, are those tiles on the back, or is that wallpaper? That looks awesome.
Yeah, there's soundproof tiles. I put and arranged each one of those myself. Okay. And and maybe next year it'll look entirely different.
Well, that's, according to the Lounge Nights, that is lounge material.
Yes.
Definitely.
Oh. Yeah.
And one of my people here says, Marissa has crazy energy. Well, thank you. I love the crazy energy. I'd rather not be boring. But today's the only day, Victoria, that I haven't done my hair and makeup and I'm wearing a sweatshirt, because I just said, I'm going to if everybody else is in their house with their crackers and cheese, this is like a ritual for people every Friday. I figured, why can't I relax?
Right.
Why not?
Yeah, you know what? Let me go get my jammies on.
So I'm kind of curious. How do you mix law of attraction, manifesting, and hypnosis? This is incredible.
The question really for me is, how do you not? Because, so when I first got into this whole manifesting thing, I mean, this was back in the you could basically say the late 90s is when I started learning about manifesting. And what I learned about taking a lot of personal development seminars, because I was also learning about meditation and hypnosis simultaneously, is, like you said, with the Power of the Subconscious Mind, Joseph Murphy. That is an awesome book. I mean, right there is about that book is about the law of attraction. It's about the subconscious mind. So hypnosis allows you to access the subconscious mind, because without getting the subconscious mind on board with what it is that you truly want to manifest, then you're just manifesting by default. You are manifesting what you have been in alignment with and what you've been programmed to believe at the deepest level, the level below your conscious awareness. You're just manifesting by default. And so if you're happy with how things are turning out, great. But if you want more and you're just hitting roadblocks and you're just not getting to where you want to be, and like you had mentioned, if you're feeling lack of motivation or lots of distractions or procrastination and things like that, there's a reason. You have beliefs that are counter to what you desire to manifest. So what hypnosis does is it just helps us to rearrange those beliefs in our subconscious mind to help the subconscious mind to get on board with what it is that you truly desire in this life. And it's, there's more to it than that, but in a nutshell, that's ultimately why hypnosis, to me, it's a must. It's like you're just not going to get what you truly, truly want in this life until you get rid of the limiting beliefs that are holding you back and stopping you from having what you want.
Yeah. Now, what about the people, like, I know for myself, I have, and I talk about this freely, but I do have some PTSD, some CPTSD. So most of what goes on is in my body. It's not even in the mind. The mind is fine, and I'm like, I'm okay now, you know what I mean? But there's stuff that happens in my body just that I can't stop. That is just kind of like, and that causes cycles to kind of continue in my life, or causes me to react to small stimuli that really don't really. It's like, well, why do I keep reacting from somebody doing the same thing over and over again? And this is something that I believe is this something that hypnosis can like look into, and look into why your body is firing and not your
Mhm.
mind.
And, so I'm just going to put the big old disclaimer out there about, dealing with health, anything health related. I kind of try to steer away from. However, that being said, there is a mind body connection. And a lot of times when we are getting aches and pains, we're getting uh, knots in our stomach. I mean, if you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, like you can think about something that makes you really nervous, really worried. And then, I mean, sometimes, when my husband's driving,
Yeah, right. The men
I find
driving.
I find myself getting a little uptight and little palm sweating. And the same thing happens when you're watching a movie. Well, what's causing that?
Right.
What's causing that is our perception of what's going on. And somebody else could be experiencing the exact same scenario and not have sweaty palms.
Mm-hmm.
So how we are, thinking about our problems, how we're dealing with our stress, it can wreak havoc on our body. It can create stress. It can create tension. Tension creates pain in the body, and unreleased emotions can definitely result in creating scenarios in the body. Having even worrying that I might have this problem, or sometimes somebody's talking about a physical problem that they have, and you start internalizing that. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, do I have that problem? It's like,
Yeah,
well,
right.
I have the same symptoms that they're talking
Yeah.
about. They are really good about putting you into a state to where you're experiencing those problems. So there is a mind body connection, and where the line is between that, I have no idea. It's,
Mm-hmm.
but it really can't, the two are definitely related, and one can be preventing you from doing the other. Your body can prevent you from doing what you say that you want to do in your mind, and your mind can prevent your body from doing things based on what you believe is true for the body. So, there
Yeah.
is definitely a connection there.
Yeah, and what I think when I think of hypnosis, I think like people use it to stop smoking, and people use it to like, I don't, that's the only time like I've heard like about hypnosis is like, oh, let me do it to stop like a habit, a bad habit. But you're talking about it in terms of manifesting and following dreams. So like, what would be kind of a sample situation of a client that would come to you and say, here's the issue and you have this solution? Can you give me an example of what somebody would come to you with and the problem that you solve?
Absolutely. So I deal with mainly two different types of people that are manifesting. I either deal with the entrepreneur who is at a certain point in their business and they just haven't been able to move forward, they're stuck, or it's also somebody who is maybe working the 9 to 5. They want to become an entrepreneur, but they are just not acting on what they know that they need to do in order
Mm-hmm.
to get from point A to point B. So that's the one kind of person I deal with. The another type of person I deal with is somebody who's looking for their soulmate, looking for love,
Mm.
and they want a romantic partner, and they just they have all the reasons in the world why they should be able to find love, but maybe they just don't feel very confident in approaching men or women. Maybe they just don't feel like they're very good looking, and maybe they just need a little bit more just a little bit more magnetism or charisma. They don't have the personality that comes out when they go to meet somebody. And so we want to kind of turn on that magnetism, that charisma. So those are
Oh.
the two different types of people. And so with hypnosis, what it can do is it can bring out the qualities that a person has hidden inside of them, that, because I believe that every desire that we have comes with like the seed to be able to fulfill that desire. And it's just a matter of being able to dig in to the subconscious mind and figure out where are those hidden qualities and be able to bring out the best in a person so that they can move forward and achieve their goal. So say I'm dealing with the entrepreneur and they come to me and they
Yeah.
say, I really, I want to start an online business. I want to, do my internet marketing, whatever type of business they're looking at starting. And, well, what is it that that is getting in the way of that? And we'll kind of walk through some of the things, that they know, that either there's things that they know they need to do that they're just not taking action. I know that I need to write this script for this program, or I know that I need to make these videos, but I'm just shy. I'm shy about getting on camera. So we figure out like what it is that is the thing that is stopping them. Maybe they just feel like they don't know how, and they need, or the other thing that happens with people is they just don't have the clarity. Like they
Mhm.
have so many different things that they want to do, and they're just going in all different directions and sort of running around in circles. So hypnosis can relax the mind and help them to focus on what's going to bring them the greatest success, what's going to bring them the most happiness, what's going to give them ultimately just the most fulfillment and satisfaction, and a feeling that they are fulfilling their purpose. Because I believe we all have a
Right.
purpose, and and it's just a matter of really just getting clear and moving forward toward that, and taking consistent daily steps toward that.
Yeah, and so are you working with people one on one, or are these through your courses or through your book? And do you say, okay, we're going to work with strategy and practical tools here, and then I'm going to take you through a hypnosis session? Or is it like, do you have a structure of how you work with people? Or is it just kind of like, I'm just going to go with kind of what I feel the person needs at the time? Like, when is the point where you actually um, put the hypnosis into play? Like, do you actually take people through a hypnosis session?
I
And
do.
yeah, like
I do.
how does this work?
Yeah. So for example, like one of my most recent clients, and like you said, like you were asking, do I work on the strategy or do I work on the mindset? I actually, believe it or not, I work on both, because I personally, I am an internet entrepreneur. I have an online business for the last 22 years. And so I have used both a strategy as well as my mindset to get where I'm going. So I actually go in both areas depending on what the client is coming to me for. Sometimes people have the strategy, they don't need my help with that. They just need to get the mind set. And so, for example, one client came to me, and he was just all of a sudden his business stopped for no reason at all. He had no idea what had happened. It had been like 6 months since he'd had anybody come and call him for hypnosis. He was a hypnosis hypnotist himself.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And
That must be weird.
yeah, well, and I work with coaches and hypnotists, even though they can do the same thing. We need people too. We have our own limits, and sometimes just having somebody else have that objective eye and can listen for things that maybe you just can't hear yourself. Even though you have all the tools, sometimes you're just not able to use them on yourself. So we went through a process where I hypnotized him, and I asked him to get in touch with, there was a part of him that wanted to to succeed, and there was a part of him that wanted to sabotage that success. And so what we did is we had a little conversation with that voice. And I know it sounds a little weird, but we'll literally have a two-way conversation that I'll have them speak to this side of their mind, and then this side of their mind I'll have that speak to the other side of the mind. And so the two parts, they kind of join forces and they figure this out together. Of course, I'm running the dialogue for them and helping them to have that dialogue. But we'll just kind of find out, well, why is it that you want to sabotage, Fred, let's call him, from having this success? And then the other part will say, well, because, I just need time to relax, and I never get, I just need, or whatever it is. And we'll find out what the reason is why this part is sabotaging them. And then we're able to say, well, is there another way that we can go about achieving that goal? If you need relaxation, what would you have Fred do? And then once there's like an agreement made between these two parts of the mind, then the sabotage part just kind of gets on board with achieving the goal. And next thing you know, clients are coming in, and he, and now he's too busy.
Wow. Yeah. That's another problem, right?
Yeah. So now that's a new problem.
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those things where you don't always know exactly what you're going to get with people, because the mind has a way of not really demonstrating things until you get in and talk to the subconscious mind. And so sometimes, you don't always know exactly what the problem is until you have that conversation. And then sometimes it's just a matter of, I just need to be more disciplined, or I just need to be more consistent, or I need to be more productive with my time. And, there's just a ton of things that a person will come to me for to help them to move forward. But to answer your question, there's also courses that I have that people can go through. I have the, Passive Profit and Prosperity with Hypnotic Recordings course, and people can go through that. And I have my, my Practical Law of Attraction course, and, and people can go through that. My Personal Growth course. All these courses will help also people that are a little bit more of the do-it-yourselfers. And, I happen to be kind of more of a do-it-yourselfer myself. So that's one of the reasons why I ended up creating a lot of courses and content that people can just take and do on their own. It's actually Victoria M. Gallagher.
Oh, see, I just did it like real fast. So let me edit that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Victoria Gallagher is some
other person. Okay. Other person. Is that right? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm trying to talk to you and write the thing at the same time.
I know how it goes.
So that's so interesting. If you guys want to hear more about Victoria M. Gallagher, not Victoria Gallagher, you'll get the wrong person. All of her courses, her book, and everything is on there. It looks like she has meditations. It looks like she's got courses, DIY stuff, and you can work with her directly. So what's really interesting, and I love how the lounge works, and it's just bizarre because I wouldn't have asked somebody from the chat to come on if our co-host wasn't able to be here. And it's just interesting how the universe works, because I had Coach JXP. He came on a couple weeks ago, and he just happened to be in the chat saying, "Oh, I'll come on." And while we were talking to him, he was one of the only people that ended up getting a live mediumship message on the lounge from his grandmother ended up coming through on the show.
Oh, nice.
And what the message that came through to him was that I felt that he would be a great hypnotist. So how random is this?
That is very
That
random.
I was like, hey, come on. I'm like, for some reason, I'm talking to him and I feel like I'm being hypnotized. Do you know what I mean? Like when he's talking, there's something I could feel like going in. And I'm like, you have to look into this. And now, interestingly enough, the universe moves things around and he happens to be here and now happens to come on. And now you're talking. I'm like, oh my God, I said that the last time. So let's bring Coach JXP on and
Yay!
give
That's awesome.
Coach.
Hey, Coach. Nice to meet
How
you.
are
I love
you?
it. I love the energy tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
The coach just slides into the DMs. Slides right in.
That's what I do. That's why I'm doing that, so that I don't get into trouble.
So how weird is that, Coach JXP, that like I say about you being like doing hypnosis, that I'm getting that message and then here this whole thing happens. Like how weird is this?
You know what? I don't find this weird anymore because,
Right?
because my life is it's there's a lot of synchronicities happening, and it's just everything is just flowing into place. And then last, you brought up the spontaneous mediumship.
Yeah. The message.
Yeah, the message.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting because you mentioned there like a hot air balloon.
Yeah.
And then last Friday, when I was just, flowing through the city of Philadelphia, I randomly saw a hot air balloon. So yeah,
When do you ever see that in the city of Philadelphia? Not
I mean,
not usually.
it was at 5 below. I mean, it's just
Okay. Yeah.
fun. uh, yeah, it's just fun. Let me just thank you again for that, okay? Because
Oh, of
thank you.
course.
I do appreciate that, and it was fun. It was enlightening. It was very insightful for me to experience, and it was just fun to experience that with you. And thank you. But yeah, yeah, it's not weird anymore. It's not weird that things like this happening, especially right now. That I believe that energies. There's so much energy happening all around, and if you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, if you're plugged into that lovely stream of consciousness that is present, that is available all around every day, all day, every day, then you get to feel that life is going to work out for you, that life is working out for you, that life is always working out for you. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to
Yes.
hear insight from Victoria, and I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, and
It's a fun show.
did
It's a
you
fun show.
it is. Did you get to relay some of those messages to your family that your grandmother ended up bringing through for you?
Yeah, yes, I did, and but I wasn't. I, uh, I have this thing of sharing information to other people because I feel that if sometimes when they provide you input, they might mess you up. They might,
Right.
right? They might
Right.
mess up something with my thinking. So I try
Yeah.
to just be general about it. But yeah, my mom was interested, and I was. You mentioned too about the brooch last time, and I'm obsessively asking my relatives if there was a brooch left by my grandmother. But but nothing yet so far. But I asked them to like review like old photos and
Yeah.
see, just to see whether or not those photos have her, wearing that brooch. And I just want to see it. I just want to see some of
Yeah.
her history a little bit more.
And she could be, excuse me, she could be mentioning too, sometimes the interpretation could come out differently than what we think it is. It could be that it could be had been like a pin that was on a sweater that she was wearing that looked like a brooch. You know what I mean? But it could have been a
Mm,
pin of something that she was connected to or involved with, or just like a decorative pin that she wear on a sweater, or you know what I mean. Somebody that could have been with her on the other side could have had that antique brooch that also.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
I just really,
sometimes.
yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
No,
I'm
I'm just
saying sometimes like the information presents itself and you think it's one direction and then like 3 weeks later something will surface and the light bulb will go off and be like, so I tell people don't worry about it, don't think about it,
yeah,
don't analyze it, don't look for it.
yeah,
And then when it happens, you'll know because it'll all like click together and you'll
yeah,
be like,
yeah.
this is what she was talking about. So you
And
just
that's
have
the
to kind
beauty of
of go
it.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Like let's just allow the universe to surprise and delight us in so many beautiful ways.
Yeah, and so
I'm curious, Miss Victoria.
Yes.
Have you done hypnotherapy or hypnotized a medium?
I Not that
oh,
I'm aware of. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I've hypnotized so many people, and of course, through my recordings, I've hypnotized probably a million people. But but live, no, I don't think I have. I mean, I'm sure that actually, you know what? I have a friend who we've done some trades together. She's like more of like a channel, so I guess that's about the same kind of thing.
yeah.
And yeah, and she's done some work on me, and I've done some work on her, and I've hypnotized her. But yeah, I have. So I would say yes.
What was that? Was it hard to, or was it easier?
There's
Because
really, actually, it's easier. It's easier to hypnotize somebody who's already kind of in the spirit world a little bit and in their because they're in their creative right brain already. And so somebody who's a little, it's like it's easier to hypnotize little children. And because
yeah,
they're just way more playful. And that's really what it comes down to. When it comes to hypnosis, it's just using your imagination and allowing yourself to play with ideas and just being able to visualize, because the subconscious mind, it works very much with pictures, and it doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagination. And that's something that's a real key thing to understand when it comes to hypnosis, because, or even just, anything that you're imagining or visualizing, if you're visualizing the worst, you're telling your subconscious mind that you have something to worry about. And then that's going to change your vibration. And when you're visualizing things the way that you want them to go, then it's going to give you that positive feeling. And that's, just going to snowball into nothing but good things. And that brings me to like one little thing you had mentioned was, just about how getting into that feel good state. Marissa was asking me, what are some of the things that I hypnotize people for, and why is hypnosis so good with law of attraction? And that's one of the things that, sometimes people have a hard time when it comes to manifesting, just believing that this stuff even works, that their minds are so powerful. And so that's just another area that we delve into, is helping people to get into the habit of thinking positive things. It's so difficult sometimes just to get our minds wrapped around that we can have and be and do anything that we want, anything, and it's completely unlimited. And the only thing that gets in our way is what we perceive and what we think and what we believe that we can have. And so, and people are also so in the habit of of feeling bad, or like seeing what's going on out there in the world and allowing that to impact your internal state. We don't have to let those things impact us. We can be right here right now. What's going on in these four walls is good. I'm here, I'm healthy, I have a bottle of water, I've got my cats running around, I've got this beautiful lighting, I've got my husband downstairs. Life is good, and it's been good. And there's you turn on the news and you have a different perspective of
Yeah,
what's going on out there.
definitely.
But you don't have to let that run you. You don't have to let that worry you. And so we use hypnosis just to kind of help also to alleviate that anxiety and those fears and those worries and those doubts about what you can do, and what you can do even when there are bad things happening out there. What we can do is completely within our control at all times, no matter what is going on out there.
Yeah, and with like past life regression, because I've done past life regression before, I found that it was easier for me to go into that regression than most people.
Mhm.
But then she was telling me that past life regression is kind of a light hypnosis, but I didn't know they were the same types of things. Um, And then with EMDR, I'm not sure if you're familiar with
Hmm.
EMDR. I actually, being a medium, I actually went above the. You're supposed to go into this scene when you first do EMDR, and they bring you into this scene, and I actually went way above that into like the spirit realm. Like I came out of it, and I'm getting messages from the guy's father, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second. There was just a hawk that was like running around. What's going on? He's like, I have no idea. I haven't ever seen this before. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not doing that again. So yeah, but like, do you find that people, um, like, I just have to ask this question because it's just something that I think everybody wants to ask, but they think they're silly for asking it. You know those shows where people are like, oh, the hypnotist made them like walk around like a chicken, and they told them to like get up and roll around and bark like a dog. Like, is that real?
So it is real. It's
Oh my
absolutely
God.
real. And
Why? Why would people do that?
well,
It's
you
so,
know, it's kind of a conditioning so that happens before those people ever actually get on stage. And
okay.
so a lot of times like people think that they're completely out of control and they have no ability to reason or say no to the hypnotist, but they actually do. You can actually say no. You are aware of what's going on the whole time. But what happens, okay, when you'll notice, that what happens before the hypnotist ever brings people on stage, he goes through, entire explanation of what hypnosis is and talks about the show. I mean, there's, usually like a good 10, 15, 20 minutes of show before the show. Then he or she, I should also say, because there's plenty of female hypnotists.
Yeah.
Then, they'll ask, does anybody want to volunteer? Now, just by merely wanting to volunteer, you've already kind of predisposed yourself to being in those situations. You've probably seen a hypnosis show before, so you know why you're going up there. And so you're already like you're already kind of partially hypnotized. You've already kind of gotten into this sense of rapport and the sense of agreement that's established. So you're ready, you've said yes, you're up there. Now the next thing that happens is there's like another level of hypnosis that happens. The hypnotist will kind of do a few, they'll hypnotize you, then they'll do a few little tricks. And some of the
Tricks?
the
Like,
the tricks.
what do you mean tricks?
So the little hot and cold or dance around or anything that kind of gets the audience to show signs that they are indeed in that state of hypnosis, because
Okay.
there are certain people that are what you call they're natural somnambulists. And a somnambulist is just somebody who goes right into a very deep state of hypnosis quickly, and that's about maybe 10% of people in the world can
Yeah.
do
Wow.
that. Yeah. And so he's looking for those somnambulists. He's looking for those people because it's a show to entertain. So he's
Right.
looking for people that are going to be entertaining. And so he'll start with a good 20, 25 people, and then you'll notice he'll send some people back. And the people that go back, it's not that they can't be hypnotized, it's not that they weren't hypnotized, it's just that they're not in that deep of a state yet, and they might be the kind of person that takes a little longer, and they're just not going to perform well. And so he's keeping the best of the best of the best, and those are the ones that are going to ultimately entertain and show.
What
And
about people that are like have control issues? Like people that are like, you're not gonna hypnotize me. Like people who come to you that are like have anxiety. A lot of people that have anxiety have issues with letting go of control and vulnerability. So like, how do you deal with people that like do not want to relinquish control, but they need to be hypnotized for that subconscious shift?
Yeah, so usually we
That's a
talk
great
about
question.
that up front during the during the what we call the pre-talk. And during the pre-talk, we talk about all the things. Usually the reason why a person doesn't want to let go of control are a few things. They don't understand how it works. They have a fear that the hypnotist can take control. And I make sure that, they understand that, I mean, they're always in control, even though they need to. It's like one of these happy mediums. They need to let go of control,
Happy
but they're,
medium.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I had to take the opening. I had to take
I love
it.
it.
Sorry.
But it's like they are always in control. They're always in control, but they have to let go of control. And so we go through that, we talk about that, and and I explain to them, I mean, the bottom line is I cannot hypnotize a person against their will. Nobody can be hypnotized against their will. And so that's just part of the pre-talk. So you have to want it to happen. You have to allow it to happen. You have to almost make it happen. And I happen to be one of those people myself that it took me years to be able to really let go of control during hypnosis, and because I am one of those controlling people. But the thing is that that's where all the juice is. That's where all the good stuff is when you do let go of control. So it's just a matter of getting into that good rapport with that person and letting them know it's like, look, you always have control. You can always reject anything that I say. So just enjoy it. Just allow yourself to just imagine that you're on some beautiful island, some beautiful beach somewhere, and just same way that you would want to relax there, I'm going to help you do the same thing, only you're going to get some good things out of it. You're going to get some nice benefits. You're going to change some behaviors, change some habits if you want to. If you don't want to, we won't do it. We won't be able to do it.
No, that's good to know. And you know what? I have to put it out to the chat that we do have about 10 minutes left. And I would love for you guys, I know you guys have been listening. I would love for you guys to shoot some questions off. Do you have some questions for Victoria? Do you have some questions for Coach? Questions for Coach. Coach, the Scorpio coach. How you feeling about your Scorpio energy tonight? You feeling good? Feeling
Oh, I
good?
feel good. I feel good. I've been managing my energy very well for the past
Okay.
few weeks.
Look, I have a Penn State sweat. So you're like the coach. I'm like the linebacker. We got it going on.
No, I actually wanted to ask you about that sweater, about the
Yeah.
jacket. Um, just because I watched your episode last week too with Bob Ginsberg,
Yeah.
and then you said that you discussed life after death with medical students at Penn State.
Yeah.
How was it? Like, what was the highlight of that topic? How did they receive that?
Um, it was one of my clients. She is a professor there, and she always does, I guess, one class on death and dying every year. So she wanted to, and plus I'm a medical intuitive as well. So she wanted to bring me in for them to ask like questions about my career and my job. And there were a lot of people that I think at first, a lot of these students are very technical and logical. So I had to kind of like engage them to really ask some thought provoking questions because it was, they're medical students. So it was very sterile for a little while, and then people did start asking questions. But it was interesting. I think by the end of it, they had a good time. So yeah. And so then we took pictures, and they gave me this sweatshirt and a gift card to get some pizza, which I really enjoyed. so let me get to thank you, Coach JXP. Before we get to the questions, I want to ask you, Coach.
Oh.
You, Coach. How's your business going, and are you manifesting, and are things kind of activating and going well for you since you've been on the lounge? Or did it activate some energy? Because usually when people come on the lounge, it activates the energy. So have you been manifesting in your business? How are things going?
Yeah, it is my business and my practice. Because I'm a certified high performance coach and a holistic occupational therapy practitioner too. It is where it is right now, and I'm taking things slowly. My I've learned the thing is the thing that I manifested from that experience were emotions, a lot of emotions in me. When I was talking with you and Elise and just interacting with you and just presenting myself, that was my kind of big takeaway from that. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about who I am and what about my flaws and how I'm handling my flaws and how I can be better. And I just evaluated myself after that. And so there were a lot of positive emotions, a lot of empowering emotions that came out after that experience, and that is my main manifestation from that, and that I feel really thankful, appreciative, and joyful.
Aw.
So,
Well,
yeah.
we're so happy. We loved having you on, and it's such a surprise, and it's great. I'm just happy that you're here because I love your energy. So thanks for coming
Oh,
back on
thanks.
again.
I love your
um,
energy too, by the way.
Thank you. This was a question I was going to ask Victoria, that I didn't get to, that was on my mind. People who are picking the same relationship over and over again, and the
Mm.
same toxic pattern, then they leave that person. They're like, I won't ever do this again, and pick an entirely different, let's say a woman and man, another man, and it's like the same thing. So somebody's actually asking that question in the chat. Can I be hypnotized to release old patterns of choice of man? Ha ha ha.
Yes,
So,
yes, that's absolutely something that you can be hypnotized for. The reason we do that usually is because our, caretakers, our closest caretakers to us had those traits. And so we are always looking, we're always kind of hypnotized in the beginning to just kind of in your subconscious mind think that that's the way all people are. You don't necessarily consciously, seek those kind of people, but subconsciously, they're on your radar. Like anybody who's going to wound you the same way that you were wounded as a child, or that you were wounded in one of your most special relationships, you're going to ultimately just have a radar to find those exact people again, unbeknownst to your conscious mind. I mean, it's just completely going against you. And so, yes, of course, during hypnosis, that is something that you can release. We do, kind of need to go in and ultimately just, rearrange and give it something else to put on your radar. What are the qualities, that you would rather manifest instead? So we have to be very deliberate about programming in what it wants instead. Otherwise, it's just going to keep manifesting the same cycle on default. And so that's,
yeah.
really, really good question.
Yeah.
Because and then it gets reinforced, of course, every time you find those people, you say, see, I knew it. I knew it. That's exactly, and so that's what you sort of are expecting to find, over and over again, is those same type of people, and some people just get to a point, and I'm glad that you're asking that question, because some people just throw in the towel, they just get to the point where it's like, all men are the same. They all do, they all cheat, or they all and eventually leave you, or they're not loyal, or they won't commit, or whatever that story is that you have, and you just kind of get the story. So we just need to reprogram and create a new story, a story that
Yeah.
make you happier.
I guess the question with this is because I have a lot of clients who are beautiful, intelligent, fascinating. Just we'll take just women for example, and then and their love life is a mess.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of like they can ask me, "Oh, who am I going to meet the next one?" I'm like, "Yeah, I could see you meeting the next one, but you're meeting the next one in your cycle. You're not really changing that." That's what I see in your energy, but
Mhm.
so I could understand where you could shift that mindset in hypnosis to say, okay, let's shift that mindset. But then once they come out of that, they still have their own behavior, which kind
Exactly.
of brings them back to the pattern. So like would one session really change that pattern and dynamic? Because you could shift that mindset subconsciously, but then that person's used to playing out the same behaviors.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And most of these, one session type of hypnosis, it's not. usually enough. Usually you need about 4 sessions to start to really shift, because you want to shift your mindset, but then, it's also about shifting who you are. Who do I need to be in order to attract the type of person that I want to attract? Because you're attracting to you, like there is something in you that is saying to the world out there, I'm the type of person that you want. I'm the type of person that's ready to be hurt. I'm the type of person that's up for this game that you want to play. And again, it's below the conscious awareness. You're saying it without knowing that you're saying it, but it's in you. And so your behaviors do have to shift along with the mindset and the vision of what you want to create.
Have you seen somebody succeed with this type of very deep ingrained pattern with your work? Like, have you actually seen a success story? Because this is hard to shift, this type of situation. I have women that are 75 years old, 80, like calling me for sessions, and they're still in the cycle. And they really always wanted to change, and therapy didn't work, and books didn't work, and religion didn't work. And they just want love. You know what I'm saying? They just
Yeah,
want,
I do see it. I do see it. And, people come to me for different, sessions, and, they write back to me or they call me, and they let me know that, they have manifested the person of their dreams. They're getting married. They've changed out of those old habits. And so, definitely again, it's like sometimes it'll take years before you really, really know for sure that something has changed, because those cycles can be very long term. Those cycles can be very long before they run their whole course. And, a lot of times, like people will be in relationships for 2 years, but then it comes to an end. So you might have, it might take a couple of years before you really, really know for sure that you have shifted that cycle for good. And
well,
you get
here's an
validation.
additional question for you, because here's the like step above that question. You're in a relationship with the pattern. You're attracting that person is attracted to your wounds, and you're attracted to their wounds, and whatever dysfunction you had. So you're getting hypnotized. Let's say you're married, and you're getting hypnotized. So you're changing those beliefs, and then what happens to the other person in the situation? Then it's like they're screwed, or do they? What happens there? Like, one person in a marriage goes for hypnosis, and the other person's wounded, and then is that person out on the street? Like, what happens then?
It's a great question, and it really does depend on so many different factors. There's not like a one answer to fit that, because sometimes it happens where, like there's a philosophy that says it only takes one person to change the relationship. So when you change, then they're gonna shift. But then I've also seen it where you outgrow a relationship. Not all relationships are meant to last forever. So you might shift, and then that other person's not shifting, and they are gonna ultimately get kicked to the curb, because
so don't get hypnotized if you don't want to stay married.
If you don't want to stay stuck in an unhealthy relationship, don't get hypnotized, because your relationship is what will change. And so it's either going to change in the present environment, or it's going to change in some other environment.
So your husband, you say they better get hypnotized too, or they're out in the garbage can.
Not necessarily, because your behavior can rub off on and influence another person's behavior. So if you're the strong person in that relationship, that other person may end up, kind of just falling in line. You suddenly become a more respecting person, and you're not allowing yourself to be talked down to, or whatever it is, whatever the bad pattern is. Or obviously if that person's a cheater and they're cheating,
you can't change that.
You're probably not going to change that behavior. So you're probably going to do the self-respecting thing and walk away from that. So it just kind of depends. There's so many different dynamics, but it's like, in the end, you're going to be a happier person, because you are either going to allow that person, that person doesn't necessarily have to be hypnotized to come along with you. They can naturally change according to your new energy. And so if you're a strong person and you're, setting the context for how that relationship goes, that other person may just end up coming along with you, or they may need help. They may say, I've really seen some amazing things in you. What have you done? Like how?
Right. Well,
And
does they change their like that just because one, and I understand the concept of one person shifting causes the whole energy to shift. But
mhm.
how does, if that person is getting a better beliefs about themselves and they're changing those limited beliefs, even though it changes the dynamic of the relationship, the partner that hasn't been hypnotized, how are they then changing their subconscious beliefs?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I mean, it may be that they are just simply falling in line, because we're changing our beliefs all the time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you may just notice your partner is like turning you on more, or there's something great about your partner. It's like, I just really want to please that person. I just really want to make that person happy. And so you can shift your awareness in an instant. Or
Right, right.
the other side of that coin is, yes, that person may possibly need a little help in shifting. Like, I'm choosing to be a better person, but I still seem to have all these bad habits. Maybe I need to go and get hypnotized too. And so that person will come to their own realization that they need to come to the table. It's rare, that both people are really dominating the energy in the relationship to the point where both people are, gonna need to get hypnotized together. But it does happen. It does
Mm.
happen. And for that, like, I have a couples hypnosis program. It's like 8 sessions that, actually does help, the couple. But, in most instances, usually like kind of one person, maybe they're putting up with bad behavior, and once the other person kind of recognizes that, okay, that person is just they're going to leave me if I don't if I don't shift out of this bad behavior, they just they can just fall in line, pretty easily.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Well, we're coming to the end of our time here, but I want to maybe get to one more question if we could take it quickly.
Sure. Oh,
This
one
is
last little thing I'm going to drop
sure,
in
sure.
there is,
Yeah,
in and of themselves, relationships are kind of a state of hypnosis, and that's one of the
true.
reasons, why, I am saying, like, the other person may just fall in line, because if you're in love, I mean, love is probably the most powerful hypnotic state you can ever be in. And so if you really are in love with that person and you've seen that they're, becoming a person that you want to be a better person for, again, you can naturally, you can being hypnotized to love yourself more, love them more, and become a better person.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that's a good thing to state also. I know this topic is probably something every person wants to know, and we have about 2 minutes, so if we could just try to move through it, and so that I could get you guys promoted too, before we end. Lori asks, how well does hypnosis work for weight loss?
Yes, hypnosis works amazing for weight loss. I also have a book I wrote on, it's hypnosis for weight loss. It has weight loss scripts. Because so much of weight is about our habits. It's about our eating habits. It's about our exercise habits. And so hypnosis is great for helping you to see yourself making better food choices, getting yourself the energy that you need to go, the motivation to go to the gym, to do the things that ultimately you need to do in order to lose weight. Because it really does require action. It does require behavior change, and hypnosis is wonderful for changing those kinds of behaviors.
Awesome. Thank you so, so much. And thanks everybody for being here tonight. I want to just feature you guys separately. So Victoria, let's just get your stuff out here. This is Victoria M. Gallagher, not Gallagher, because I made a mistake of that last time. Law of Attraction hypnotist, author, coach, everything. You're everything all in one. If you guys want to connect with Victoria, see her courses, sign up for her email list, working with you, is this the best way to get a hold of you?
Yes, if you go to that website, Victoria M. Gallagher, there, you're also going to get an opportunity to sign up for my Activate the Law of Attraction. It's a hypnosis MP3 download, and just give that to you free of charge. And that'll get you onto my email list. And you can also just contact me there. All my social media is there, my books, my app, HypnoCloud. It's, it's all there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. And
Thank you for having me. This has been so delightful. I'm just, really honored to have been a guest on your show, and I just love the energy, and it's been nice to meet Coach and you. It's been a really, really fun experience. So thank you. And thank you, audience, for all the questions.
Once people are on the lounge, they always come back. So, let's get Coach on. Hi, Coach. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing amazing. Thank you. That was a wonderful show. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think I'm going to promote anything. If you want to coach, if you want to work with me, work with me.
Give me your website again so I could put it up here on a banner for you.
It's jxpcoaching.us.
.us?
Yeah, .us.
Okay.
I don't have anything to promote, but I feel that if people want to change, if you want to see a medium, if you want to see a hypnotist and a law of attraction coach, just be open to it. Just be open to the idea that something might be able to transform your life, and it might transform your life dramatically. And if you're going to transform your life, go do it well, and do it with lots of love.
Aw, JXP. Love it. Well, thank you. And I'm Marissa. I'm here. And like I said to you guys, if you go in the description of this video, you want to get those monthly energy forecasts, because I go through the whole month and the dates you have to be aware of and all the shifting and the themes of the month. And they are not live, and you cannot find them publicly. You need to be on the list. And also, if you want to get on the early notification list for Manifesting with Marissa, and the free 5-day challenge, which is coming up, Define Your Dream Challenge, which we could have Coach and Victoria there doing all sorts of stuff. That's going to be in the middle of April. You have to be on one of those lists to be able to get the notifications to sign up. So make sure you're on those. Description in this video will take you to those links. And always, we appreciate so much you guys coming on the lounge. And we hope that, see, Kim says she loves you, Coach. Amazing. Loves you. People are giving little hearts. Kim's saying, thank you, Victoria. It was so much fun.
Thank you, Kim.
So and on the replay, everybody will be watching this and commenting. So we just appreciate you guys coming up here. So thanks, everybody. And everybody have a good night. Bye.
Thank you. Have